What's up everyone, welcome back to Switchcraft, and it's a great day to be a gamer. It's a new year and you know what that means. We can expect a Nintendo Direct giving us our first few hints for what to expect in 2019 from the big N itself. Without fail, we always seem to get some sort of leak telling us the date beforehand. A bunch of batshit crazy predictions, and some that actually make some sense. This one is no exception. GamingIntel.com was the first to break that we can expect another Nintendo Direct January 10th, and we're going to run down what their source is, what games are listed as on the schedule, break down their legitimacy, and have a separate section of my own for my predictions. As always, and this has kind of become a hallmark for my channel, but when we get the actual info from Nintendo themselves, you can expect a follow-up video critiquing the crap out of this one with everything this video gets right and wrong. Our insider was first quoted as saying, "I was told January 10th from one source. This hasn't been cross-checked between sources. Most of my other sources are still undecided on an exact date, but are certain of a Nintendo January Direct." We don't have an exact time slot or length of the Direct, but Nintendo is notorious for having a Direct shortly into the new year, setting up the next 12 months, and more importantly, setting for them the ending of their fiscal year at the end of March. Our source precluded that quote by saying, "There is a Nintendo Direct plan for January. I'm working to gather more information on it as of now." But that was enough to set speculators speculating, and we have a few key predictions for what this event is set to contain. First up, and possibly most impactful, is people saying that this Direct will be the first time we see the Switch revision that Nintendo has been rumored to be working on. Personally, I think this one is kind of out of left field. I do believe that we will get this one this year, but no way that Nintendo drops this news when they're trying to maximize the current console sales before the end of their 2018 fiscal calendar and deliver on the 20 million units sold they told investors. Nothing stops a console from selling better than if everyone knows a revision is coming. Where we have most of our rumors, however, is in regard to the software, with some major titles rumored to be making an appearance. I've heard Pokemon 8th Generation, I've heard Animal Crossing, Metroid Prime 4, Yoshi Crafted World, and Luigi's Mansion 3. So let's break these down one at a time, and then I'll let you know some titles that we can realistically expect when we actually get this Direct sometime in January. First up, you can kiss Pokemon goodbye. Game Freak does their own thing, and look at Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu. We had nothing but the faintest of blurred screenshots and sliver of details until months after January of last year. As for Animal Crossing, I think that this is something you can expect, as it looks, based on what we saw in that latest Smash Bros. Ultimate trailer, that this game is reasonably far along in its development. Yoshi's Crafted World, well, that's another one that kind of makes sense because of how soon it's set to release. And there's a strong chance we get to see more about Luigi's Mansion 3 for the Switch. Much less likely is that we'll get anything on Metroid Prime 4. Nintendo is in no rush whatsoever to talk about it. But with that being said, I think there's a greater than not possibility we do ultimately get this game in 2019. Okay, so with those out of the way, let's talk about some stuff that I personally think has a chance to be in the Direct. If there's one thing I've learned watching years of Directs, it's to keep your expectations in check. Focus on what's releasing soon, and be prepared for a few new ports of the AAA and indie variety. Some specific titles that I think are a lock are Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe and No More Heroes Travis Strikes Again. Super Mario Bros. Is set to release the day after this Direct is set to happen, and I can already see the end screen saying, "Available tomorrow." Same thing goes for Travis Strikes Again, as it's set to release only 8 days after this Direct is supposed to take place, and I know Nintendo can't resist getting that many more eyes and continue to build hype for these two titles. Expect some new gameplay features and a couple of new features we haven't heard about. My next guess is a title that's a little further down the road, and it's more info about RPG Maker for the Switch, because of just how much this title means for the console, considering its multiplayer or online strength and the fact that it's the closest thing that we have to Mario Maker for the Switch so far. I'd expect more info about basically all of the Final Fantasy games making their way to the Switch, as Square doesn't have too many RPGs that we know about coming to the Switch in 2019. At least not yet. Hell, we may even get a release window. As for games that we don't yet know about, the sky's the limit, but you can guess that there'll be some ports of indie games and some bigger names, but I don't even want to hazard a guess as I have no clue, and I kind of like being surprised. My announcement out of left field will be finally getting some more information on, you guessed it, Bayonetta 3, as we haven't seen or heard anything about that game since the 2017 VGAs. You may notice that that's using the same logic that I decided that we shouldn't put Metroid Prime 4 in for. So what gives with Bayonetta 3? Well, it's not as important a game as Metroid Prime 4 is for the Switch. I'm sorry Bayonetta fans, but big picture, Metroid means more to a bigger population. And we can finish off my predictions with maybe some announcements for the Nintendo Online service and getting some games that we can expect throughout 2019. But don't expect to get any Super Nintendo games until at least closer to the 1-year birthday of the service. Well, there you have it, a complete rundown for all rumors, leaks, predictions, and straight up guesses for what we can expect in the next Nintendo Direct, rumored to be on January 10th, 2019. What do you think? Anything here have any credibility? Did I miss anything obvious? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll be sure to be, well, constantly refreshing my Nintendo website and YouTube feed until we know for sure. Until then, it's a great day to be a gamer. Switchcraft out.